Hey there, Zonfire here, and welcome to Horizon Zero Dawn's Collectathon. In this episode, we're going to be collecting the collectibles. So we got a hand, and whenever I say collectibles, I'm not talking about the blue gleam. We're just going to go with the pigments. I already got to the closest location to this first one, so we're going to go ahead and just give it a run from here. This is post commentary, so some of the uh, so I may not have a lot of commentary going on for this, but you'll see. So I'm just going to show off the locations that you can find them at, and then just going to move to the locations after we find what we're looking for. And then I'm just going to cut the video and then move to the next location to be a little bit closer.
They're scanning for me.
Yeah, so the first one is going to be in this this little mountain range area. You can use your focus to help locate it. And here we go. That's the first one. So again, that exact location is there.
Safe. For a few minutes, anyway.
I don't know why I didn't just immediately teleport. So then next we're going to go for the animal figure that is there. So again, just starting at the closest campfire. I'm using waypoints to make it a little bit easier to know whenever I've reached the center of the area. Once you've reached the center of it, then using the focus to find the location is pretty simple. The focus is right, or this one is right on the edge of Stalker territory. So, may want to be a little bit careful. Stalkers aren't the most difficult thing to take care of, but it's still a little bit annoying. And this is where the post commentary is kind of funnier because I'm just like, I remember what happened now. And that is, I missed. So it took a couple shots. And it's like, I'm going to sneak away. Nope. So instead of fighting him, I decided that the best way to just resolve this is to run around and just find the item. So just a little bit of jogging. And I think I had some issues finding it here. So I think, if I remember right, I just kind of climbed back on top of the roof again. And then here is where I think I used the focus. No? Was I just stubborn and decided to brute force it by just repeatedly continuing. It's like, oh, and I'm like, oh, there. So that's where the animal figure 1 is. Technically, you could get that a lot quicker and easier if you get it whenever you're helping the hunters. I just did not notice it at the time. Now we are going to the next one we go to, I believe, is yeah, it's showing another animal figure. Yeah, but this episode I didn't feel like recording the whole thing. Like trying to record the audio clips for each section at the same time. So I thought this would make it feel a little bit more like one video instead of 15 different videos. Okay, now what is going on here? I don't know, I should have watched everything before I actually put it all together, so I've already spliced all the videos together, so that's going to be a pain in the butt to remove, so I'll just leave it in, and you can hear me reacting. So I think this was one of the easier ones to find, because I'm pretty sure it's, yep, just right there, so that one
Figurine.
was simple.
You look fierce for such a little thing.
And some of these I didn't have exactly a close location, so I was just like, okay, I'm going to teleport to this one, and we're going to move a little bit closer. And so I think I cut the part where I actually got to a closer location. Because I did fight a couple snap maws. To get to that campfire. So that was just to get closer, so it didn't have to be anything too complicated.
I am.
Screwed up a little bit by just by that ram wanting to just mess with my day, but again, I'm just like, okay, this isn't exactly important. And also, I got past them pretty easily. And then the next pigment after this animal figure is down here. I kind of regret picking up the pigment, any of the pigments before now, because I could have just had it all in one video, but Hey, if you're following along with my playthrough, then you know you already will have a couple of those. So the next one's just right off this walking path, so it's pretty easy to find. So we already got all the figures, and we have 3 pigments left. So we're teleporting over here, and you just have to... this one I feel kind of silly about, because I'm just sitting here, scan, scan, scan. Oh, it's right down here. It's like eventually I turn it. So I spend a little bit longer than I should, and then it's like, oh, it's right there. Excuse me, sorry about that. And now the next one, that's the general location for it.
Feels like if I blink, my eyes will freeze shut.
Yeah, most of these a lot of these I started at the nearest campfire, but some of them that are farther away from the campfire, I just went ahead and showed the location that you're looking for, and then finding the pigment. So now I believe we are at the last one, and this one was a little bit more complicated because it looks to be at the very top, or it was at the very top of a mountain range. So I'm trying to figure out how to climb it without getting myself killed. So there's just going to be a few minutes of me struggling to find it. I was running back and forth, eventually found a ridge on the cliff to the sides, and I'm like, okay, maybe, so here I try to scale the mountain on one of the little ledges, and yeah, like I'm not going to edit out any of the deaths for this part. I mean, not that I edited out any of the deaths before, but most of the videos I leave largely unedited, and you get to see my mistakes, the paths I take to travel, that sort of stuff. This one, I have, since I'm already editing it quite a bit, I have the option to try to make me look better, but no, this isn't about me being the most skilled person at this game. In particular, this episode is literally just about finding the locations of the item. So actually, I probably should edit that out, but it's too late. It's already in, like I said, it's already in the video, so I'm just doing audio at this point. So then I go to the east side of this mountain range, and it becomes a lot easier to get up on. Like, it doesn't let me jump on that, so I just nearly die again. But jump my way up. Pardon me again. And it is literally as high as you can get on this mountain range. And it's right up here. Okay, now here we're going to go ahead and show off. Okay, so now we are actually just waiting on past me to move. Okay, there we go. So we're going to go ahead and turn in the animal figures, and then we're going to turn in the pigments. I didn't go down all the dialogue paths available for this, and I had some video. At this point, I had for this clip in particular for the figure turn-in, I had a little bit of issues on the actual clips. So that's why I'd had that jump edit back. I mean, I could have just cut that out, but
Back again, Enjoy.
I had so many small little clips that I added everything, and instead of watching it, I kind of just left it in. Just considered a deleted blooper. A non-deleted blooper, I should say. So we're going to go ahead and collect these last 3 figures that we have not given him and get a little audio.
Light. I didn't know if I'd ever see the whole collection reunited. Look at them. They're beautiful. You've done a great thing, Aloy. These may represent the last record that any of these beasts ever lived. Take this. It's the least I can do. And come back anytime. I and our animal friends await your return.
That's all I need to know.
Are you sure? You can never learn too much.
Okay, and another time I think I will come, maybe after I've completed the story for here, I'll come back and just show off what he'll say about each of the figures. But now it's time to go turn in the paints. And at first I just ran off in the wrong direction because I'm like, okay. And it's like,
Maybe I can trade this blue gleam.
but I do have some blue gleam. And I did have something to turn in at that point.
We also remember the ravenous tribe who delighted.
So now it's time for the small climb to get up to the painters. So climbing all the scaffolding. But one thing that I decided to record what because as you can see the sun is starting to rise, and one thing about this game that is that it's just gorgeous. I mean, look at those reds across the valleys, that mist. This effect that the sunrise has on the snow. I mean, it's just gorgeous. So, I'm glad that the past me decided to go ahead and take a moment to appreciate that, because this game is so beautiful. And I'm gonna have I'm having a little bit of difficulty getting up here.
Is this swaying, or is it just me?
The wood bends with the wind. Lean into it.
Lean into it. Sure.
Okay, now redeem all these. And out the cutscene, and now we get a small
Would you look at that?
cutscene-ish.
Nora girl, you've bought me all I need. Do you always travel with your pockets full of paint stuffs?
Honestly, Sakuli, I go around filling my pockets with most of everything.
Stop. I'm beginning to like you. I work alone, but come back around later, and I'll have something for you then.
That's me.
Maybe it's a machine rider who looks like you.
Where's she going?
You tell me. To ruins or mountains, through flood or thaw, past, future, destiny. But I don't think she's scared of any of it. You helped me, inspired me, and the people of the Cut. Let this be inspiration for you, wherever you may run.
Once the Werak gets a glimpse at Sakuli's mural, word will get around about how I helped her. But they must have heard of me by now.
Now the only other thing that I could do before Aratak and just gathering Blue Gleam, besides those two things, is going to the Hunter's Lodge and doing that. I decided not to do that, but at some point I will probably do that, like before I go back to the main story. I'm going to go ahead and do that, so... But, right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the, whenever I get closer to the campfire, the rewards that I got for this, so... What you'll notice is it did go ahead and give me a bunch of modifications. Now, this DLC has a lot of special modifications, and that's a pretty fantastic little thing. So, one thing I do is I just dismantle any of the non-purple modifications, because may as well just get a little bit of extra money from it. But that's going to be all for this episode. And in the next one, I'm going to go ahead and challenge for the Gurag. But I'll see y'all then. Bye-bye.